Kia ora, and welcome to episode 1 of the Penny Drops. In this segment, I will talk about migrating. This will be your insider's guide to moving, living, and thriving in Aotearoa, New Zealand. I'm your host, Penny, a fellow migrant, a learning and development expert by profession with 19 years' experience, and someone who's been through the roller coaster of packing up a life and starting again half a world away. Let me share a bit about myself. I'm a woman in my early 40s, living in Auckland since 2013. My wife and I moved here together. We've been married for just over 5 years and have spent almost 15 years as a couple. When we arrived, it was only the two of us. No family joined us in the move. My wife does have a friend in Auckland, though. They attended both primary and secondary school together. For context, I was born in the Philippines and previously held Filipino nationality prior to acquiring New Zealand citizenship. My father is a second-generation Chinese migrant from Fujian, China, while my mother is of Spanish heritage, with both maternal grandparents emigrating from Spain to the Philippines. I was brought up in a family environment that adhered to traditional Chinese customs and Spanish Catholic values. I was educated in multiple private schools, mostly Catholic, from primary school to earning my bachelor's degree in biology. Instead of pursuing the medical field, life happened, and it took me to a great detour, exploring learning and development, which I fell in love with and is still doing as a full-time job. Now, you'll get to know me more as we progress, but before we dive in, here's a critical point I want to make. This podcast isn't immigration or financial advice. It's real talk from someone who's been there and who wants to make your move a little smoother and a lot less stressful. So you've decided to move to a different country, have done your research, and have chosen New Zealand. Maybe it's for work, maybe it's for family, maybe because your heart whispered, it's time. Whatever your reason, congratulations. You've already taken the initial step, making the decision. Migration is one of those life choices that sound romantic in theory, like a montage of plane tickets, smiling selfies, and adventure. A lot of people say grass is greener on the other side, but is it really? Behind those bookings and new beginnings, it's grit, courage, and a fair bit of self-doubt. When I moved here over 10 years ago, there weren't many resources around. No vlogs, no migration Facebook groups, no moving to New Zealand checklists. We learned the hard way, through trial, error, and very expensive immigration advice. And even though moving today is more convenient, with Uber Eats, Google Maps, and Reddit threads galore, it's also more overwhelming. There's so much information that you almost don't know where to begin. That's where this podcast comes in, to help you focus on what truly matters. Let's be real. Migration isn't a walk in the park. It's uprooting yourself from everything familiar: your family, relatives and friends, your community, your comfort zone, even your favorite hangouts, go to restaurants or street food. It's not just moving countries, it's moving identities. It's reinventing who you are. People won't know who you are. You may have studied from prestigious universities. For example, in the Philippines, people take pride graduating from elite schools like University of the Philippines, De La Salle University, Ateneo. Hiring managers and recruiters won't know what these are. You may have established a solid reputation in the industry you're working in, but that credibility won't fully transfer internationally. You may have glowing testimonials or referrals, but it won't carry the same influence in a different country. You'll start from scratch, from the most basic of things, like how to get around, or choosing a bank, picking a SIM card, adapting to new systems, accent, slang, culture, never heard of TV shows and celebrities, unpredictable weather patterns, little choices that never used to matter but actually makes a huge difference, like choosing to bring an umbrella or wearing that ugly puffer jacket. These will all make you question your life choices. And that's okay. Completely normal. Everyone feels overwhelmed in the beginning. Remember, feeling this way isn't failure, it's proof that you're growing. The grass isn't automatically greener in New Zealand, but it can be if you're willing to water it, nurture it, and adapt. This is why I've decided to share my experience with you. I've done so for many friends and family who chose the same path. Now I'm expanding my reach. If it helped them, I'm sure you'll get value from this too. So, what's my story? How did it all start for me? I held some great roles in global companies and was receiving a huge salary. My partner Marion was also earning her own money. But every time we looked at our payslips, the tax was such a ridiculous amount. For context, my tax was enough to pay for 1.5 times the salary of an entry level employee. We were able to afford a good lifestyle, but we weren't saving as much as we needed to be able to set ourselves up for a comfortable retirement. One day, I got made redundant, and Marion wasn't happy with her job anymore, too. She was overworked and underpaid. We realized what many migrants do. We need to find a better life elsewhere. We started assessing where to move to, starting with countries we also have traveled for work or visited. Most Filipinos lean toward America or Canada. We have a lot of American influence, and it would be easier to assimilate. Some opt for Asian countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan. Others opted for the Middle East, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, or Europe, London, France, Germany. Some chose Australia or New Zealand. There were so many options. We reviewed requirements, documentation, and a few other factors like language and culture. And, most importantly, safety. One critical point: as a same sex couple, we search for a new home where our relationship is legally recognized. And so we picked New Zealand. We spoke with both families and told them of our plans. Marion's wonderful parents offered to help us out too. So we attended a seminar from a licensed immigration advisor, which I will talk about in a later segment or episode. When I arrived, I thought we'd prepared for everything. I had my documents, my savings, my goals. But nothing really prepares you for that moment when you realize, wow, this is it. I live here now. For me, the hardest part wasn't the paperwork or the weather. It was the uncertainty and the quiet. That silence when the excitement wears off and you start missing family, inside jokes, and your old normal. And yet, that's where the magic starts. That quiet is where you build your new normal. Here's something I knew but didn't sink in until later. Migration isn't just a logistical move, it's a mindset shift. You'll need patience with yourself, with bureaucracy, with time zones. You'll need humility because you might have to start again professionally, even if you were an expert back home. And most of all, you'll need curiosity to explore, learn, and say yes to things you'd never considered before, like eating pies for breakfast or wearing flip flops, jandals, to the supermarket. Every migrant story is different, but there's a common thread that binds us: the courage to begin again. Whether you're moving alone or with family, remember, you're not just relocating, you're rewriting your story. So take a deep breath. You got this. And by the end of the series, you'll have practical steps, honest insights, and maybe even a few laughs to help make this new chapter feel a little lighter. In our next episode, we'll talk about preparation, what to do before you leave, from essential documents to smart money moves, and how to pack like a pro. If you found today's episode helpful, please subscribe, share it with someone planning their move, or send in your questions for future episodes. Until next time, I'm Penny, and this is the Penny Drops. Haerera! And remember, every great adventure begins with a single decision.